Hare Krishna. Welcome back to our Swadhyaya Online Reading Retreat Labs presents Power of SAP, the Gateway to Spirituality program. In this, we have started with Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam every day morning and Bhagavad Gita. We are reading it every day evening, 8:30 p.m. And if you have missed any of these things, you can always save this playlist in my YouTube and you can always have an update from that, right? So this is the playlist for Gita Daily series, which happens in the evening, and this is the Srimad Bhagavatam. I have actually, because of the large volume, I have done it canto-wise playlist. We will be having, this is the ninth canto we are reading from. So if you do not have the hard copy, I will recommend this is the hard copy of ninth canto. You can always bring in with you, and you can collect it from, take it from nearest ISKCON temple, or if you do not have now, so we can always read it through the online version of it. Okay. So to quickly go back, so in the last session, so we have covered Lord Rama kills demon Ravana. There are two part of it. We covered it in two sessions. One is verse number 1 to verse number 22 and verse number 23 to 32. Okay. So today we are going to start and complete the entire verse number 33 to verse number 50. So here the focus area is today how Lord Rama's coronation is happening as the king of Ayodhya. So that we are going to cover today. So without any further ado, let's then get started for today's topic. And today the first part, verse number 33 to verse number 50. The first part is verse number 33 to verse number 40. Here we'll be learning the loving dealings between Bharata and Rama. So how it is the loving dealings is happening, that we are going to learn today. So let's then get started with the verse number 33. Verse number 33 translation, it goes like this. When Lord Ramachandra returned to his capital, Ayodhya, he was greeted on the road by the princely order who showered his body with beautiful fragrant flowers, while great personalities like Lord Brahma and other demigods glorified the activities of the Lord in the great jubilation. Verse number 34. Upon reaching Ayodhya, Lord Ramachandra heard that in his absence his brother Bharata was eating barley cooked in the urine of a cow, covering his body with the bark of trees, wearing matted locks of hair, and lying on a mattress of pusa. The most merciful Lord very much lamented this. Verse number 35 to 38, translations go like this. When Lord Bharata understood that Lord Ramachandra was returning to the capital, Ayodhya, he immediately took upon his own head Lord Ramachandra's wooden shoes and came out from his camp at Nandigrama. Lord Bharata was accompanied by ministers, priests, and other respectable citizens, by professional musicians vibrating pleasing musical sounds, and by learned brahmanas loudly chanting Vedic hymns. Following in the procession were chariots drawn by beautiful horses with harnesses of golden rope. These chariots were decorated by flags and with golden embroidery and by other flags of various sizes and patterns. There were soldiers bedecked with golden armor, servants wearing betel knot, and many well-known and beautiful prostitutes. Many servants followed on foot, bearing an umbrella, whisks, different grades of precious jewels, and other paraphernalia befitting a royal reception. Accompanied in this way, Lord Bharata, his heart softened in the in ecstasy and his eyes full of tears, approached Lord Ramachandra and fell at his lotus feet with great ecstatic love. Moving to the next verse, verse number 39 to verse number 40. After our translation, after offering the wooden shoes before Lord Ramachandra, Lord Bharata stood with folded hands, his eyes full of tears, and Lord Ramachandra bathed Bharata with tears while embracing him with both arms for a long time. Accompanied by Mother Sita and Lakshmana, Lord Ramachandra then offered his respectful obeisances unto the Lord Brahmanas and the elderly persons in the family. And all the citizens of Ayodhya offered their respectful obeisances unto the Lord. Moving to the next verse, verse number 41. Translations. The citizens of Ayodhya, upon seeing their king return after a long absence, offered him flower garlands, waved their upper class, and danced in great jubilation. Verse number 42, 43. Translation. O king, Lord Bharata carried Lord Ramachandra's wooden shoes. Sugriva and Vibhishana carried a whisk and an excellent fan. Hanuman carried a white umbrella. Satrughna carried a bow and two beavers, and Sitadevi carried a water pot filled with water from holy places. Angada carried a sword, and Jambavan, king of Rakshas, carried a golden shield. Verse number 44. Translation. O King Parikshit, as the Lord sat on his airplane of flowers, with women offering him prayers and reciters chanting about his characteristics, he appeared like the moon with the stars and planets. Verse number 45 to 46. Translations. Thereafter, having been welcomed by his brother Bharata, Lord Ramachandra entered the city of Ayodhya. In the midst of a festival, when he entered the palace, he offered obeisance to all the mothers, including Kaikeyi and the other wives of Maharaja Dasharatha, and especially his own mother, Kausalya. He also offered obeisance to the spiritual preceptors such as Vasistha. Friends of his own age and younger friends worshipped him, and he returned their respectful obeisances, as did Lakshmana and Mother Sita. In this way, they all entered the palace. Next is verse number 47. Translation. Upon seeing their sons, the mothers of Rama, Lakshmana, Bharata, and Shatrughna immediately arose like unconscious bodies returning to consciousness. The mothers placed their sons on their laps and bathed them with tears, thus relieving themselves of the grief of long separation. Verse number 48. The family priest, translation, the family priest or spiritual master, Vasistha, had Lord Ramachandra cleanly shaved, clean him from his matted locks of hair. Then, with the cooperation of the elderly members of the family, he performed the bathing ceremony, Abhisheka, for Lord Ramachandra with the water of the four seas and with the other substances, just as it was performed for King Indra. Verse number 49, translation. Lord Ramachandra, fully bathed and his head clean shaven, dressed himself very nicely and was decorated for with garland and ornaments. Thus he shone brightly, surrounded by his brothers and wife, who were similarly dressed and ornamented. Verse number 50, translations. Being pleased by the full surrender and submission of Lord Bharata, Lord Ramachandra then accepted the throne of the state. He cared for the citizens exactly like a father, and the citizens, being fully engaged in their occupational duties of Varna and Ashrama, accepted him as their father. Purport. Yeah. So, reading the purport from here again, people are very fond of the pattern of Ramarajya, and even today politicians sometimes form a party called Ramarajya. But unfortunately, they have no obedience to Lord Rama. It is sometimes said that people want the kingdom of God without God. Such an aspiration, however, is never going to be fulfilled. Good government can exist when the relationship between the citizens and the government is like that exemplified by Lord Ramachandra and the citizens. Lord Ramachandra ruled his kingdom exactly as a father takes care of his children, and the citizens, being obliged to the good government of Lord Ramachandra, accepted the Lord as their father. Thus, the relationship between the citizens and the government stood exactly like that between father and son. When the sons in a family are well trained, they are obedient to the father and mother. And when the father is well qualified, he takes good care of the children. as indicated here by the word Swadharma Nirata, Varnashrama Gunavitaha. The people were good citizens because they accepted the institution of Varna and Ashrama, which arranges society in the Varna divisions of Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, and Shudra, and the Ashrama divisions of Brahmacharya, Grihastha, Vanaprastha, and Sannyasa. This is actual human civilization. People must be trained according to the different Varna Ashrama occupational duties. As confirmed in Bhagavad Gita 4.13, Chaturvarnyam Maya system, Guna Karma Vibhagasha, the four Varnas must be established according to varying qualities and work. The first principle for good government is that it must institute this Varnashrama system. The purpose of Varnashrama is to enable people to become God conscious. Varnashrama, Charavrata, Purushena Paraha Pumsa, Puman Vishnu Aradhyate. The entire Varnashrama scheme is intended to enable people to become Vaishnavas. Vishnu Asya Devata. When people worship Lord Vishnu as the Supreme Lord, they become Vaishnavas. Thus, people should be trained to become Vaishnavas through the system of Varna and Ashrama, as they were during the reign of Lord Ramachandra, when everyone was fully trained to follow the Varnashrama principles. Simply enforcing laws and ordinances cannot make the citizens obedient and lawful. That is impossible. Throughout the entire world, there are so many states, legislative assemblies, and parliaments, but still the citizens are rogues and thieves. Good citizenship, therefore, cannot be enforced. The citizens must be trained, as there are schools and colleges to train students to become chemical engineers, lawyers, and specialists in many other departments of knowledge. There must be schools and colleges to train students to become Brahmanas, Kshatriyas, Vaishyas, Sudras, Brahmacharis, Grihasthas, Vanaprasthas, and Sannyasis. This will provide the preliminary condition for good citizenship. Varnashrama Gunavita. Generally speaking, if the king or president is a Rajarsi, the relationship between the citizens and the chief executive will be clear, and there will be no possibility of disruption in the state because the number of thieves and rogues will decrease. In Kali Yuga, however, because the Varnashrama is neglected, people are generally thieves and rogues. In the system of democracy, such thieves and rogues naturally collect money from other thieves and rogues, and thus there is chaos in every government, and no one is happy. But here, the example of good government is to be found in the reign of Lord Ramachandra. If people follow this example, there will be good government all over the world. So with this, we have completed this part. So we are supposed to read it from this chapter number 10, verse number 33 to 50. So just to recap. So verse number 33 to 40, we have seen the loving dealings between Bharata and Rama. Verse number 41 to 47, we have seen how the grand reception of Rama is happening and there are loving reciprocations between the citizens of Ayodhya and Lord Rama and Lakshmana and Sita Devi. Then in the last part, we have seen the verse number 48 to verse number 50, how the entire Abhishek ceremony and coronation of Lord Rama is happening. And the last, especially the verse number 50, which is very exclusively how a good governance should be, right? So that is something is very well written and we must read, and every politicians, okay? So they must read this, and also every citizens as apart from any world, it's not only for India, but any part of the world. This is the concept is saying, right? So this is something universal which you must follow, right? So with this, we have completed this particular sections. With this, Hare Krishna, Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Hare Krishna.